I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. It used to be misery was my full-time job. Weekends and holidays I would play. Then I saw the little ones, 24 hours of having fun, and I knew that I was born to live that way. Sing along if you'd like. I got a brand new occupation, and then in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I used to only giggle when the time was right, when the proper people gave me their okay. Then I saw when it came to cheer, this world needed some pioneer, and I let myself be joyful every day. A brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment, every day, every moment, every day, every moment of my life.
Up the road. Good morning. Now that your adrenaline is rushing.
Excuse me, I'm going to cross.
I want to welcome everybody today on this special day, Easter Sunday. And I want us all to welcome each other. So if you'll stand and open your arms in a position of welcoming and openness, and turn to someone close to you and say, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Sam, welcome. Welcome.
Now turn to someone else and do the same. Okay, we're going to have time for meet and greet later, so let's not wander right past that.
You know, Andre, you set us off. You know Unitix. You know better.
Welcome all. If you're new here today, you're here for the first time, or you haven't been here in a while, we do have welcoming packets for you. See one of the ushers. If you've been with us every Sunday for the past 20 years, you're welcome. And if you're kind of here now and then, you're welcome. Because today's service would not be the same if you weren't here. And we welcome you to be part of today's service. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
So let us begin with some prayer, affirmative prayer. Let's take a breath and become present to this sacred space and fellowship. Breathe in that welcome of our community. Breathe out any thoughts or feelings of separation. Breathe in the support we feel knowing each other and the Christ nature within each of us. Oh, breathe out any drama of the day. I rejoice in this brand new, never before lived day. I rejoice in this brand new, never before seen spring. I am grateful as I visualize spring budding before me as though someone took a spring green crayon and colored the woods in my backyard. Visualize your own image of spring blooming. It's so wondrous. I acknowledge the challenges in this human life, in this Unity Church, in this world. I release any thoughts of judgment, insufficiency, or limitation. I affirm the powers of strength, faith, love, and life to move the stone obstacles in my life, this church, this world. I am spiritual beingness in human form. I create choice by choice the new dimension of consciousness that Jesus showed us through his Easter demonstration. I affirm that the energy of resurrection is lifting all people to new dimensions of love, appreciating deeply the true unity of all life. We are grateful for this release and surrender at this time to be present in this space with this fellowship. We celebrate resurrection and renewal. So it is. Okay, now.
And now's our opportunity to do the meet and greet, which is an extension of the welcome, where we actually get to hug each other and shake hands and wave. So if you'll now join me in our opportunity to meet and greet each other.
Oh, great. Hey, Louis. I'm so glad to see you.
How you doing?
All right, darling. Hey, Becky. Hey, Deborah. Oh. Yes.
All right, as you make your way back to your seat, if I think I'd rather you not sit for this one. If you might want to please stay standing and help us sing I'm Ready for a Miracle. Most of you know this, and if you don't, we're going to do it twice. I'll be a little faster the second time, so pay attention if you don't know it. If you do know it, sing along. I'm ready for a miracle, ready for a miracle, I'm ready for a miracle today. I got my mind tuned on, ready to experience one, I'm ready for a miracle today. My mind is open, ready to receive it. My heart is open all the way. I do accept a miracle, I do accept a miracle, I do accept a miracle today. I do receive a miracle, I do receive a miracle, I do receive a miracle today. Again.
Now the fast part.
I'm ready for a miracle, ready for a miracle, I'm ready for a miracle today. I got my mind in timber one, ready to experience one, I'm ready for a miracle today. My mind is open, ready to receive it. My heart is open all the way. I do accept a miracle, I do accept a miracle, I do accept a miracle today. I do receive a miracle, I do receive a miracle, I do receive a miracle today. Thank you.
So today's daily word is Easter resurrection. And the affirmation, my divinity underwrites the resurrection of my adverse thoughts into higher dimensions of consciousness. Let's say that together. My divinity underwrites the resurrection of adverse thoughts into higher dimensions of consciousness. Today we light the Christ candle and we recognize the prayer box. I failed to mention I am the prayer chaplain today, and I will be here after service if you need to have prayer down here. And then also you can always put your prayers in the prayer box, and we send them to Silent Unity. And we light the Christ candle to remind us of our Christ nature within. It's always burning bright. So now let's say our statement of being. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
So this month our featured artist is going to be Daniel Nemad, who I had the great pleasure of getting a real good dose of when I went to the Posse Fest in February. And one of the things that came out of that was this song, which I knew but had forgotten about. And I thought it was a perfect song for Easter. Everything New. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, and everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, and everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming, that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. Think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, and everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I've survived many times before. Broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will once more. I'm going to rise again. So bring it on, everything new, everything different,
and
everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
Thank y'all. Happy Easter. Thank y'all for being here. I was sitting with Pat in the back this morning, and she was reminding me of the good old days. For those of us that were raised in church, that on Easter, we always had a new frock, a new bonnet, a new something that we wore on Easter. And I had one of those horrific memories of in the 70s in my bell bottoms and other attire that was my new Easter garb. I am so thankful we didn't have social media, so there are no pictures of that still alive. Easter, no matter what tradition we live in, meaning individually what we practice and live in our faith and in our experience, Easter is an important event. And it's an important event because there are 2.5 billion Christians on the planet that identify themselves as Christians. 2.5 billion that are celebrating today. So whether we want to or not, we're in that energy because there's 2.2 billion people, right, thinking, celebrating, having an idea about Easter. And Easter, according to Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, Easter is about lifting up, resurrecting, but lifting up that Christ consciousness out of the humanness that we are. So it's an experience of bringing back life, resurrecting the life that's truly already there versus our humanness that we believe and adhere to, that we're separate, that we're not part of that whole. And I think it's pretty good that Easter is on April Fool's Day, right? Because here we are on one side about lifting up, moving out of our humanness into the awareness of our Christ self and taking our individualized consciousness into the consciousness, the whole consciousness. And then over here is the jokester and the prankster doing pretty much everything to keep us out of this side over here. So I think that's apropos for us here on this Easter Sunday. There are really two significant viewpoints when we talk about Easter. And one of those is more of the, I'll use this term, Orthodox Christianity. And that says that Jesus was crucified, he died, he was resurrected, he then ascended into heaven, and he sits at the right hand of the Father, and he's part of the judgment of us as a people, and that he came to save our souls. So that's one viewpoint. And then over here we have another viewpoint, and we'll call this one the unorthodox Christianity. Okay? Some ways to me, this is the mystic side of Christianity. This says that Jesus was crucified, and Jesus died, and he released that life that was in that body. And then he developed the consciousness that was within him and rebreathed, re-resurrected that life so that he now was alive in physical form, not just in a figurative form, but in a physical form. And that he continued to refine and develop that body until he became invisible, yet he's still here with us. That Christ awareness that he is still playing a part in our existence, being our way shower without necessarily being the visible, physical aspect that he was 2,000 years ago. No matter which one of those viewpoints that you look at and adhere in your life, I believe they both have value. Now, you and I might have preference on which one we pick up and say, that I like this one. Fine, then that's the one we go with. But it might be even something to think about is, what if we explored both of those and got understanding from both those viewpoints? Where would we go? What would we develop internally, personally, for ourselves to expand both those viewpoints within us? Because it's not about an us and a them. It's about us, period. The we that's taking place on this planet. No matter what our faith and denominations and our lack of faith, our absolute conviction that there is no faith, whatever that might be for us, we're still all one people. And we're striving to, in some ways, remember who we are. And for us in this community, we might say that remembering who we are is remembering the Christ that's alive within us. That we are the expression of the consciousness that is the consciousness, the one power, the one source, the one presence. So as we move into this day and acknowledge that the world, almost 1/3 of it, is celebrating this resurrection of Jesus Christ, what's our resurrection? What's taking place for us today? Because resurrection is about us letting go or letting something die, because there has to be a crucifixion for there to be a resurrection in this story. Crucifixion is death. It's a dying. It's a letting go of, a falling away. And what are we as a people, in a very generic sense, what are we letting go of? What would Orthodox Christianity say that Jesus came to help us be removed of? Our sins, yes. And what's sin? What do we know as sin in unity? It's error thinking. It's also just a term that means to miss the mark, right? What was that? Self-induced nonsense. That much of that too. Missing the mark means there was something that we could have hit, but we just didn't quite hit it. And being a great archery term, we get to pull another arrow and shoot again to work toward that mark. And that mark is remembering who we are, remembering the consciousness that we're created out of and thus have full access to and are experiencing and expressing right now, whether we are conscious of expressing it or not. But what we want to become is conscious of that expression, to be in that live, living aspect of that consciousness, so that we no longer fall into missing the mark and falling into that great acronym that Vondra gave us over there on sin. We're looking to let that die, to fall away. Because all of us have within us an identity piece about who we believe we are and what we think makes us who we are. Because a lot of us can identify with we're not good enough, or we're not lovable, we're not smart enough. We have a we're not something statement within us. Maybe you've healed that, and maybe you haven't. And maybe you've got a whole list of them. Okay? Maybe it's just one. But all of us have some aspect of that. And we learned it where? In our childhood, in our young adulthood. Something about what was said to us or just what we witnessed. It could have been intentional, someone trying to manipulate us in a certain direction, or it could have just simply been we picked it up and ran with it. I've heard some great stories of people being in experiences as child, and they walked away with that experience believing that they were this, when everybody that they ever talked to that was there in that experience had absolutely no awareness of that. In other words, that experience for them had nothing to do with what this person walked away with. Okay? And we do that often. So we identify with something. We believe that our identity is based in this thought, this perception. And in our crucifixion, we're allowing at least part of that. And what we're striving to is let all of that die away for us, so that what remains is our awareness of the truth of who we are. That's our resurrection taking place in our life. And resurrection's not something to be feared, because we often think that we're having to give up our lives to be raised from the dead, so to speak. Right? You're only giving up that which typically creates our suffering and our pain and our misery. So what we're giving up are the things that we really didn't like to begin with. I think that most of us have a desire to let something fall away. Many traditions. I had a conversation last week with someone using a shamanic tradition, went through a death process. In that death process, they were letting go of all the pain and suffering of their physical body in this specific process, recognizing that what they were suffering with their body was also part of their mind suffering, their belief system suffering. So they went through a formal process of letting that die so that they could be resurrected, reborn anew after that death for us. Most of us don't go through that big process, and most of us don't need to go through the crucifixion that Jesus went through. A little brutal, a little rough. Our crucifixions can be small, bite-sized pieces of recognizing things that we want to let go. In some ways, we're using affirmative prayer in our life on a regular basis. We're continuing to return to the truth of who we are. That's what affirmative prayer is. It's reminding us of that truth. What is this? It's a cross, okay? Kind of a big symbol during our Easter weekend. I know that some of us, we don't like that symbol. But for me, I have a whole different take on this symbol. This part, okay, this vertical aspect, this is the alignment of my physicalness with my spiritual side. In essence, there is no physical and spiritual side. They're both the same one thing. But I kind of believe they're separate. That's part of my, what I identify with and could be shifted and changed in my world is how much I separate my physical from my spiritual. But this alignment piece here is about how do we bring that deeper into our awareness that in our physical existence is our spiritual existence too. And then what is this? Isn't this a number one? Right. So it's us returning to our oneness. So that's the vertical aspect. The horizontal is the great open arms. What do we do when we open our arms? We love, we're reaching out, we're usually embracing, okay? We're allowing people in. This is an allowance piece. More importantly, it's a surrender piece. I'm surrendering. And what am I surrendering to? I'm surrendering to this. I'm surrendering to that spiritual nature, to the oneness that I am. So actually we have a union here. We have the vertical and the horizontal, and they meet somewhere in here, right? What do we like to call this area? Our heart chakra, our heart area. Right? Not just our physical heart, but the heart of our being. So these two pieces align here and align in our heart. Right? The healers in the room, you know that when you're working on connecting so that you can flow, that a part of what you're doing is bringing your awareness to your heart. And when you do that, it's amazing what opens up and what starts to flow here. Right? That alignment piece allows that energy, that's universal energy, to come, however we want to say it, come into us, come through us, come out of us, it does all those things, and flow forth. So that alignment piece is allowing me to reach out and share more of that energy. That's important for us when we look at that that surrendering and that allowing ourselves to be more deeply connected with our spiritual nature, that we become more of that spiritual nature which is love and light, and that flows forth from us. That we become the love and light that we want to see in the world. How many of you seen angels? We got any confessors here? Okay. I saw an angel this week. I was walking through the community room and looked out the back window, and he was working in the backyard. He's done that before. He actually tries to slip in, do his work, and get out, and thinks nobody will know that he was there. Except I've caught him twice. For those of you that don't know, I'm talking about Ralph Montanus over here. He actually repaired, yes. He repaired the fence in the backyard for us and did a beautiful job with that. And did it single-handedly, all in what it might have taken me a full day, he did it like that. To me, that's an angel, because he was willing to show up, offer, give, be of service, and really made no expectation that anybody identify him. So he's being singled out here, not because he desired to be singled out, and he might be going, I'd rather not be singled out, but he got singled out anyway. To me, that's an angel. And we are surrounded by and impacted by angels every moment. For those of you that raised your hands, that may very much, the angels you're talking about seem to be non-physical angels, but some of those angels that you mentioned, I know, were those people that stepped up in your life and gave you something that touched you and blessed you, and you knew and recognized them as an angel. We're going to support the angels that actually we all are today. As part of our resurrection and part of us allowing the surrender piece to come together, we're going to do a very simple exercise. Nothing big and fancy, nothing complicated about it, but nonetheless impactful for us and powerful if we choose for it to be powerful. I'm looking for the clicker. I know many of you have done a blessing before, that you bless someone. How many have done a blessing where you, whatever type of blessing it was, that you did a blessing, that you blessed someone in your presence? We're going to use Ralph as our blessing focus today. And I'm just going to invite you, Ralph, just receive. You don't have to do anything. But it's to give us a first step in this exercise of recognizing someone that's giving to us individually because he's giving to us as a community, and we all reap the benefits of our community. The blessing is, we bless you, we love you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ you are. Talked about when we surrender and bring this alignment piece, that healers, as they do that, they feel this flow. And they can feel that flow as it comes out of their hands. That light, that energy is moving forth from them. It doesn't just move through our hands, okay? It moves through our whole field. It moves especially through our heart. But we get to focus it more with our hands because we get to have an intention with it of where we want it to be. So I'm going to invite during this blessing, use your hands so that you can focus that. And Ralph, thank you for being our focal point today, but thank you more importantly for being our angel today. So if you'll join me, just repeat together. We bless you, we love you, We appreciate you. We behold the Christ you are. Okay. Now, you're going to do this for this room, for the people in this room. So, you don't necessarily have to focus toward one person. You're focusing toward all. And part of your intention is recognizing that as you're focusing, you are focusing toward the other people in this room. The other people in the room are focusing toward you. You get to receive in this process. So this is the paradox. You're flowing and giving out and receiving all at the same time. Right? One of those wonderful blessings of life. So for us as a community, for the people in this room, together, we bless you, we love you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ you are. Where else would y'all like that to go? Everywhere, okay. So we're not going to single it down. We're everywhere. That's true. So, use your beautiful imagination here. I can see that beautiful, beautiful picture from outer space where we're looking down on this great blue orb, how stunningly blue it is. I can see that in my imagination. And I know that that is where I'm flowing to everything and everyone. There is no place on this beautiful globe of ours that God is not. And we're going to help support that, love that, and be a part of that. So for our planet, together, we bless you. We love you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ you are. How many of you feel something with your hands? You may not. If you bring your attention to it and do that more often, you'll be aware of that activation. You're moving that energy. You're helping resurrect a part of you that may have been dormant up until now. Or you may not be dormant. You're just helping add a little more to it, expand it more, bring more of it into your existence, into your life. And to me, that's the resurrection process that we're talking about now, is bringing more completeness of who we are into our awareness and into our experience. We are far greater, grander, powerful than we play at in our lives. And Jesus came to show us that, you know, those things that you believe about the way things are supposed to be, they're not. You can choose another way to be. And he showed us the crucifixion, the surrender piece, and the resurrection side of that. And continues to support in that. That's what's happening for us still today. It's that completion that may have begun many years ago and may not quite be complete yet in our awareness, but that completion is in progress for us. For humanity will expand, will be awakened, will be enlightened, will be at one-ment. Because in essence, we never left that. We just believe we left that. So our resurrection today is part of us individually living more enlivened lives, but also supporting our planet and the people, the almost 7 billion people on this planet, of living that too. So as I move into the meditation side of this, I'm going to invite you to keep this piece present. Keep your awareness of the vertical and the horizontal, the oneness and the surrender. That you are aligned. And as you're ready, And close your eyes. Taking a big breath in and releasing out. Letting go. No longer need to be attached, to hold on to. That your identity with that which no longer serves you is falling away. And the breath is allowing that to be exhaled out. Freed that easily, that simply. And with the inhalation, you're bringing in love and light. And you're bringing that awareness that there is one power, one source, one presence, one true nature, a divine nature. And this divine nature is your divine nature. And each breath reminds you of that and allows you to deepen that awareness. Now you're going to allow that flow. It's coming down through you, following that vertical. It's like a river. It has movement and direction. And it's flowing into you, filling you up, cleansing as it moves through. Taking any of those pieces, any of that fractured identity, allowing that to have a way to be washed away, carried on out. Because as it flows in, it flows out. And as above, so below. You allow that flow to come up, using your breath, inhaling it in. And as it comes up, it too is finding those places to cleanse, to wash away. That current, that movement is picking up what no longer serves and allowing it to be free, released from you. And these two flows are meeting where? Meeting at that place that's your true heart essence. The center of your spiritual self. You can feel that activation, the awareness of your spiritual heart surging, pumping, desiring to be more, fuller, expanded in the fullness of its life. And here in your spiritual heart, your resurrection is alive. Listen here. There's a clear and succinct voice telling you about your resurrection. And as we move into the silence, allow that voice to be shared with yourself and have the clarity of its clarity in your consciousness. words, the sensations, the thoughts, the images, the sounds, the smells, the textures, whatever it might have been that came to you in that silence, has its life in your spiritual consciousness. Give yourself a sentence that helps outline what that was. So if you were going to tell a friend afterwards, you would give them the one sentence that couldn't convey the fullness of what you experienced, but most certainly would give you the feel, the idea. And now, bringing your awareness back to your breath, knowing that it continues to flow in and flow out. That not only do your lungs rise and fall, but your spiritual heart, it too flows in and flows out. And that you are connected to that, and even as the meditation ends, you cannot be separated from that. So bring your awareness to this room, to the movement of your body, to the presence of your hands and your feet wherever they're resting. And as you open your eyes, return to this space resurrected, alive, full and complete, alive. And so it is.
Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise to my God. Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise for my God. Hallelujah. My God, hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise, oh my God, let every breath I breathe be sacred, let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise to my God. Hallelujah. Oh my God, let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy, and only bring me close to you. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy, and only bring me close to you. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Yes, thank you.
Russ,
Excuse me?
we have another song.
You have another song?
Are you doing something that I didn't know about?
Can I join in?
Sure.
Because obviously I've already joined in. So I must be up here for a reason. So why don't I just stop for just a second and just acknowledge that these folks give so much of their time and energy, and that I do want to be up here with them because I appreciate what they give of us. So maybe it was just for me to acknowledge and appreciate that they contribute so much to us as a community, and that I am thankful and grateful for you. Thank you.
And it was Rise Up is the name of the song, so you rose up appropriately.
Hey, that was it.
He is arisen.
I had to say hallelujah. I was in it.
So somewhere in the past week, I didn't set out to write a song for Easter, but it was floating around in the ether, so I grabbed it, and here it is. It's called "You Shall Rise Up." Rise up to the height you're meant to rise up to. Your true calling awaits you. It's your time to soar. Rise up to the height. The seeds planted in you. The kingdom awaits you. It's time to do more. Rise up to meet your destiny. Rise up to see who you might be. Rise up, as tall as you can be. The time is now, set your spirit free. Rise up
To the
sky. I know you were meant to fly. And I know you know that so do I. Rise up to meet your destiny. Rise up to see who you might be. Rise up as tall as you can be. The time is now, set your spirit free. Rise up to the height you're meant to rise up to. True calling awaits you. It's your time to soar. Rise up to the height. The seeds planted in you. The kingdom awaits you. It's time to do more. The kingdom awaits you. It's time to do more. The kingdom awaits you. It's time to do more. You shall rise up. 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 Thank you.
Now it's my turn. Thank y'all. Hallelujah and rise up. All right, I agree with those. As we move into our offering here, from what we've talked about earlier, this is a place to remember too that your gifts that you share help support this community, but the act of you giving is for you as well, because you're releasing your abundance and your prosperity into this community. So whether you give or don't give, your intention at this moment is to release and give your abundance and your prosperity, knowing too that in the crucifixion and resurrection, you also can release that which you're holding on to that's constricting, that's resistant to your abundance and prosperity. It's okay to release that in this process too, because there's a ebb and tide, there's a give and take, there's a flow that takes place. So as you give, there is that abundance, there's that light, there's that love, and there's then the mechanism to help lift up and burn away that which is not that light and that love in this process. So I just invite you to keep that in mind today as you take your gifts in mind, if you give online, and to hold your gifts in hand as we say our offering blessing. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your willingness to share your abundance, share your prosperity, and for your willingness to help heal and shift and transform your own lives so that we as a community can shift and heal and transform as a community. So with that, if you'll join me in this wonderful affirmation of thank you, thank you, thank you. Together, thank you, thank you, thank you.
May I?
Do I make a good bunny? No. They're at least honest. I'm not sure I feel like a good bunny. Oh, losing it.
Uh-oh.
There we go. All right. So for announcements, one, next Saturday, 9 o'clock, we're having our Groovy Grounds. I just want to reaffirm that come and do what you can. Nobody expects you to come and work for hours. If you don't have the ability to work for hours, that's okay. Come do what you can. But it's an opportunity for us to help party up and make our grounds more beautiful, especially getting us ready for our last Sunday of the month extravaganza that we're going to have in the meditation garden.
And also next Saturday at 3 o'clock, we're doing our spirit group party. Partay, as Tam put in there. Michael is in charge of that. We're going to do coffee and cake here. And we're also going to celebrate somebody's very special birthday next Saturday. Right, Pat? Pilgrimage for Peace next Saturday at 2. Do you want to talk more?
Yes, Pilgrimage for Peace. There's an organization of ecumenical groups meeting in support of peace for us here in Central Arkansas. And they're meeting at the Heifer International Circle in front of there and walking over to 120 Riverfront, which is about 1.5 miles. For those of you that want to align and support an organization of organizations, because that's what it is, of people aligned for holding the intention of peace for us here in Central Arkansas. It'd be a great opportunity. If you can't walk that 1.5 miles, we have the actual address of where we'll end. You can meet us there if you'd like to do that as well. Okay. Yes, Betty. It's at 2 o'clock at Heifer International. Okay.
And now Andre is going to come up and have a few words.
The board has received a number of requests to make it easier for people to get in touch with us. And so I want to bring to your attention that we've changed the back page of the bulletin. And the back page of the bulletin now lists all the board members, our phone numbers, and our email addresses, so that if you have anything that you would like to discuss with us, you can choose who you'd like to talk to and get in touch with us. And just so you know, I'm Andre. Let's see, Vandra has been up here singing. Linda is in the back and was helping take collections today.
Give us your Vandra wave, Linda. There we go. Thank you.
Jeannie did our opening prayer and will be our prayer chaplain today. Scott does sound for us every week.
And he's got a good Vandra wave too. Yes, yes. A Vanda wave, excuse me.
And Russ is also a member of the board. So those are your board members. If you didn't know who was who, I hope that gave you a little introduction. And we're all available anytime. There is one correction that I saw on here. The last digit of my phone number is a 3, not a 5.
Okay.
So
all right.
the other piece that has come up in discussion is how do we get in touch with each other? And so we're now in the process of creating a directory. And we need some help with that because we need to confirm people's addresses and phone numbers and verify that they want to be listed in the directory. So if you would like to volunteer to help us confirm information, we would greatly appreciate that. And the third item that we want to bring to your attention is we're going to work harder at scheduling board meetings far enough out so that if people want to attend and hear what's going on, they can do so. So this month we will have a board meeting on the last Sunday of the month, which is our musical celebration in the garden, potluck. So it'll be after the potluck on, I think the date is the 29th, the last Sunday of the month.
Yes.
And Russ.
And there's a board meeting today, but this board meeting has one sole purpose, and that's the election of the officers of the Board of Trustees. You elect the Board of Trustees, the officers among themselves elect their officers. So today they're going to do that election, so that will be a 10-minute process tops. So I invite you, those that want to come and treat this as a ceremony, as part of a ritual approach to seeing your board confirm and recommit to you as a community on what officers and roles that they will serve for you, but also as a way of sharing your love and your energy and your light with the continued expansion and growth of us here as a community. So that will happen 5 minutes after we close today. Okay? Anything else? Anything else, Jeannie? Did we miss something? She has left the room. Oh, I'm getting paranoid. It being, yes.
we're still going to do the prayer of protection. Russ, if you want to lead that.
Yes, if you'll join together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And now, because today's Easter, which embodies newness, we're going to not do the peace song, and we're going to do this song. And I know most of you don't know the verses, but you'll know the chorus. And please join in on the chorus part. So here we go. Jesus spoke entreating them to live together in a circle of love. When his followers asked him then, who shall be included? Jesus said, everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, everybody into the circle, circle. Oligarchs and tyrants try to keep some in and the rest outside. Till revolution sweeps across the land and the people all stand and the common folks cry, let everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Gay and straight, rich and poor, whole and broken, open up that door. The more we are, the greater we become. After all, we all are one. Bring in the people, but don't stop there. Bring the fishes and the birds in the air. The river's wide and the mountains tall. We go together or we don't go at all. Everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Yay, God!
Let's close our eyes.